One's already here, that was fast. We haven't left, one or the other. Right, well, I'm going to do what the community asked for.
Fast.
Oh.
We haven't left.
Right, sorry, pausing the stream. So, I'm going to do what the community asked for, and I'm going to play some Total War Warhammer. I'm going to load it up now. I'm going to let the opening cinematic play because I've never done this on my channel before, and I am going to put this directly up to YouTube as it is. So, sorry for the little bit at the beginning. And just got to make sure that it is working as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get to the screen, I'm going to start a campaign, and I'm going to do maybe 10 turns as a race, and I'll let the guys watching decide which race I play as. That'll be how I do it, I guess. So if you are a fan of Total War, or if you've seen the game played before at least, then let me know what you want me to play, and we'll go from there. I know there's no image quiz, it's coming, or at least it should be. Yeah. Sorry, I was doing an introduction before I did the image. Oops, wrong screen. So I'm going to let the cinematic run. You guys can vote when it's going.
It is a dark age. A bloody age. An age of war. The gods are cruel, and we are their playthings. But this is no game. It is ceaseless. Many seek the path to victory, but only one can stand glorious over all. From the Badlands come the orcs and goblins, a green tide of brutal creatures that must be stopped. In Sylvania, the dead rise again. The vampire counts march forth. Mighty dwarf kingdoms, long thought diminished, are resurgent under their high king. And at the old world's heart stands the Empire. Karl Franz must prove worthy of the Warhammer. There is chaos, its corrupting, changing taint, despoils all before it. Only the strongest will endure. War is upon us. It is unending.
Well, I've seen that cinematic maybe 100 times and I still think it's absolutely awesome. I really, really love this game, what can I say? It's going to be a little bit slow with me jumping between chat and the game because the game doesn't really like it when I go off screen, so just keep that in mind. But I'm going to leave the options for you in front of you. I have all of the races, so I can play whichever race you want. Have a look and give me a vote. I'll give you a couple of minutes and then we'll decide what we're playing. That's fine, Chris, you don't stay for long. It's going to be just you voting as well, I think, anyway. So what race do you want to see me play, mate? Orcs. Alright then, Greenskins it is. Grimgor, say my name, say my name. Right, I'm not going to come back into chat. What I will do, though, just before I start off the game, I'm going to put myself back in voice, so if you do want to get hold of me at any point, you can come and interrupt me for a second. It won't be a big deal. Just put the link. But it's really hard to jump between the game and chat, so... Also, I will say as well, of course, Total War Warhammer 2 is coming out soon, and in just over a week, actually, there is the free DLC Morska. So that's going to be new and exciting as well. And I will be playing as Grimgor, of course, because who else would I be playing as? And I'm going to let the Orc cinematic run as well, just because, again, I haven't played this game before, to give the game a little bit of advertising, basically. So I'll play as Grimgor, and I'll let the Orc thing do its thing, then we'll talk about the basic setup for Orcs at the beginning. Here we go.
War comes. I can smell it. The old world teeters on a blade's edge, but a steadying hand may yet save it. Is that my role? Alas, nothing is grand. I am merely a humble advisor to Grimgor Ironhide, the most brutal of black orcs. Even that bestial intellect recognized a use in me. Now I accompany his horde as we travel south, laying waste to the stunted and rival orc tribes alike. Deep in the Badlands, Orfang Rotgut, master of Black Crag, challenges his superiority. Grimgor stands to take the whole of the old world as his prize. But first, he must vanquish Rotgut and take Black Crag as his new capital.
Alright, I'll let the advisor do his thing as well when it loads up, and I will talk about the basics of playing as Greenskins, I guess, because I have done this campaign a few times now, as most of the races. The only one I haven't done is Wood Elves, so I will do that at some point. But I can talk about some basic Orc things that are important, I guess, starting off here. And I'll just play about 10 turns, and then I'll move on to something else, depending on what the time is. I may have even less time than 10 turns, actually, but we'll see how we go. You have a damn good point there, Chris. Let's see if I can get Mixer on my phone then. It's probably a better way of doing it all the time, actually, when I think about it. Thanks for that. As always, you're full of good ideas. Yeah, my loading time is quite slow on this game as well, so I apologize for that. In-game it's usually fine, but setting it up, it usually takes a couple of seconds. I didn't actually check the settings as well. I don't know what difficulty or anything I'm playing as, so this could be interesting. The Mixer. No, I don't want that. Okay, I'll find out for next time about the chat on Mixer. Thanks for that idea though, Chris. I'll have a look at it for next time. So whenever you see random helper guy in my chat on Discord, he's actually based on the old guy in this game. That was my inspiration for random helper guy, actually. Where he's just kind of everywhere and helping everybody. And also secretly in charge of chaos. But keep that on the down low. We're running slower than normal. Okay, I'm going to close a couple of things. Just bear with me a second. If it does start without me. There we go, that helped. He says. Well, I hope you're enjoying the loading screen. That's this is all this game is really. You just look at the loading screen for a couple of minutes and then I say things every now and then.
Black Crag is yours, my brutal lord. The Badlands beyond lay open for conquest. This area is dominated by tribes of inferior Greenskins. On the plains to the west, Rotgut's Red Fangs mass against you, angry at the loss of their stronghold. Proving your utter superiority over Gorfang should be your first calling. Vanquish the Red Fang, and tribes of lesser orcs will flock to your banner, freeing your mobs to look further afield for lands to conquer. The stunted dwarfs that dwell in the mountains around you should provide plentiful quarry. Your enemies are belligerent and won't necessarily cow down to your indomitable will. They need to be tamed, broken, or annihilated.
Okay, a few fluff things first when I'm playing as Greenskins, because I play the game differently based on the race that I'm playing. Sorry, I've played this game so many times I auto-closed that. It basically tells me that I have to beat an army of this race in battle. That's what that thing I just closed was, and I need to get used to the controls again. Okay, WASD moves the camera, fine. Right, so a few fluff things about the Greenskins first. When I'm playing as Grimgor Ironhide, I don't actually bother with diplomacy unless somebody talks to me. That's the way I play the Greenskins, because it feels like the way Grimgor would be. He wouldn't actually go and send somebody to try and be diplomatic, he'll just throw an axe in your face, is what he does. Now, a few things to think about when you're starting off in this particular campaign. Your base is Black Crag, and your area, Death Pass, has 3 different cities, well, 2 towns and a city, and the other 2 towns are owned by 2 different orc factions. What I've found is the best way of dealing with it is fighting both of them, actually, instead of waiting for Bloody Spears to lose, or instead of trying to get Bloody Spears to join you. You also have the dwarves over here that you can fight early on and set up your warg relatively early, and I don't usually annoy Carrick 8 Peaks anytime soon, because they can really cause you problems if you do it too early. The main dwarves to the north, so your main enemy at the moment are all of the orcs. Now, generally speaking, I don't build army factions as the first building, but it's a good idea to keep it at the beginning, because it's your only way of getting new soldiers. So it is worth upgrading the army base and immediately making some money with the Cave of Shinies. You can replace it later if you want to. And when you're playing in the campaign, if you do the tutorial, it does advise you to buy 3 more units, and I would advise the same. And the only ones that are really worth a damn are the orc boys, so that's what we're going to take. Grimgor Ironhide, fluff-wise as well, doesn't actually like goblins, so it's quite unusual that there are goblins in his army. Anyway, that's all we can really do for this turn, because there's no technology for orcs until you build the goblin mine, and 10 turns may be too quick actually, I'm not sure, I can't remember with the orcs. But hopefully we'll have a couple of battles and we'll see how the opening 5 or so turns of the campaign work. I'll talk about units when we get into battle. Okay, I guess I'm playing on normal because the orcs didn't move, which they usually do on hard. They usually work as one, so I'll change that later, but for now I'm going to leave it as it is. I can't be bothered playing with the settings. So we're going to go into battle and we're going to fight Nash. And just to talk about the units we got, first of all, your elite unit is the Black Orcs. They're the guys who basically can do a lot of damage to the opposition and they're heavily armoured. However, they don't move very fast at all, so it's not a good idea to let them get too involved in the fight. Your Orc boys are your basic guys who just stand in the way and get killed, and then use the rest to flank around as Orcs basically. And Orc tactics generally involve running up to the enemy and hitting them as hard as you can. However, Grimgor has my favourite thing in the game. I can't believe they actually made this. It's my favourite thing in this game, but we have the Doomdiver catapult. So Grimgor can actually sit against an Orc faction and doesn't have to go running after them. So we're actually going to let the opposition come to us. I forgot to use the banner. I always do. It's fine. Next time. This first battle is an easy one, and hopefully by the end we'll have a relatively big battle, probably against dwarves. By turn 10 I think I'll be fighting some beards. We'll see. Yeah, loading time is a bit slower because of the fact that I'm streaming. Obviously it's taking up more CPU than it would. I think for YouTube actually I'm going to cut out all this loading time. Though if I don't, then sorry. I could be talking about the units when I think about it, but yeah, let's do the battle first. Their main unit they have are the chariots. They can cause real problems because they can move fast. And to counter them all I've really got is the archers and the boar boys, and the boar boys aren't quick enough to chase it as it is an arrow cavalry unit. I usually like to let it get nice and close and deal with it mostly with the goblin archers. Whereas the Doomdiver catapult deals with everything else in this army, starting with the bigger gits, the orcs themselves. The goblins are the most useless, but if you can get them in the back of an enemy unit they can actually prove quite helpful, and the Black Orcs are probably not even going to get involved in this fight because they're too slow to move. Though I think I'm going to hold the line against this little orc rabble. They may even break before they get a chance to get to me, we'll see. Anyway, because I'm playing as Greenskins, it's necessary. Wog! There we go. And look, we have a hill, so let's use that. I always keep Grimgor in with the Black Orcs as well, because, well, he's scarier that way, what can I say? Uh-huh. I haven't played this in a while, so just give me a second. I love the sounds. And the boar boys aren't really going to be useful at the top, they're going to kind of be in the way, so let's put them here. Right, let's put you as a group actually. And, no, one group. When I think about it, they're going to be coming at us this angle, so let's angle them a bit better. Like I said, I haven't played this in a while. There we go, that'll do. So Doomdiver is going to automatically hit the closest unit, which would be this unit, which we don't want to hit. So we're going to change the target to... Actually, we're going to change it to the archers, because if we miss, we're more likely to hit the goblins or the infantry. Though the Doomdiver doesn't miss very often, to be honest. It's quite disgusting in this game. And you can actually watch it fly. I should be able to watch it fly. Maybe like that. Sorry, playing with new controls. Let's have a look. Can we follow it? No, we can't. Okay. Well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get used to using the camera in this game. So as you can see, we've already done quite a lot of damage. The red line represents the health of the enemy unit. The grey line represents their morale. When the morale breaks, the unit runs away. When the red line is all gone, the unit is dead. Though that doesn't happen overly often, to be honest. He's actually left his goblins exposed here. I'm probably going to take advantage of that in a second. And I still want him to get closer though, so I'm not going to attack just yet. I want this unit in a bit of a kill zone. There we go. Right. Now we can go and sort out some cavalry. And I tend to use Grimgor himself to fight the enemy orc, because Grimgor is usually the better one. And we're using very simple tactics in this match. I don't want the chariot to run away though, that's the important thing. So I want to leave the charge until the last possible second and give him a target as well. And we're still going to focus down the archers with this unit. Doomdiver catapults, of course. I don't even think I need the goblins, to be honest. That's fine, keep chasing them for now. No, I don't get to tactical map. As far as it goes, okay. And the orcs just eating up these arrows, not really taking any damage, so I'm quite happy with the result there. This one's easy though, what can I say? Normally I would chase the enemy down, but it's pretty boring to watch, I think, so I'll end the battle there. The basic tactic with orcs in general though is to run up and get the enemy, but the orcs on the opposite side are going to be doing that, so I'm going to make use of the Doomdiver catapult in these early matches. If you're fighting dwarves though, you really have to get involved in the fight as quickly as possible and surround them as best you can, though dwarves can be a real pain for the orcs, that's for certain. And the first fight is always easy, but it was a fight at the end of the day. So, how do we do actually? Grimgor actually managed to kill 2 somehow. We got 9 kills with the Black Orcs, you can see the kills down here. And we took hardly any damage, so that fight was incredibly easy. The chariots were completely useless on the opposite side, as were the 2 units of archers, though they did manage to do a little bit of damage with the leader and the 2 infantry units at least. So there is that. And there's nobody actually watching the stream anyway, so never mind. This is just for YouTube guys now then. I'm not going to cut out the loading screens, even though I said I would. I'm going to try and talk about the army that I'm up against and what they can do. And I'm just going to do the one video as kind of a test for now. If people like it, then I'll make more. If people don't really like it, then I don't know, I'll do something different with Total War, but I want to play a different game for a bit, so that's what I'm doing. One thing I will say though is the people who I watch playing this game are usually much better than I myself am at playing this game. I'm alright, but I don't play it often enough to be really good at it, to be honest, and I don't play online at all. I may try that before I finish this stream tonight. I may try my first ever multiplayer battle. That sounds like a good idea. And stream myself getting hammered. Or axed, one or the other. If you are playing this game yourself though, I would always recommend chasing down as many of the enemy as you can in these early matches, because you have less enemy to fight in the second one, of course, though I don't know. I'm not too worried about fighting that army again. I haven't really taken a lot of damage, so I don't need to eat the opposition. I think the leadership will actually help, especially with the goblins, because goblins have really poor leadership at all times. And so we have 2 lots of banners that we're going to use now. I forgot to use it in the first battle, but still. You've got the Immortals, which can only go to the Black Orcs at the moment, and it gives the Black Orcs armor 5+, melee defense +6, and leadership +10, so the Black Orcs that are scary get even scarier. And I also have a Ranger standard, which gives a unit Strider, which I may well give to my boar boys, as it helps them with speed, and it means they won't take penalty for going uphill, going downhill, going through forest, etc. So that makes a lot of sense, because the boar boys are actually quite slow for a cavalry unit. And yeah, we're just going to slaughter the captives. Right. So we have a new mission issued. We've got to get rid of Iron Rock, which is this town here, to try and help us with our own area. And Grimgor is safer coming back after the first match, because you can heal up your units, and if somebody does manage to attack, then you can retreat pretty much back to Black Crag, so they're not going to chase you into the middle. And a lot of this game is actually about retreating, because you're often in a position where you can't win fights. Now, I'm going to go for the Root Marcher skill first of all. And good. Let's finish him off. And we're going to buy some more units as well. We can only really buy Orc War Boys that are useful, but we're going to buy them just for the numbers. So when the fightiness does get high enough, we can get the Warg with 17 units. And also, we just have the numbers if they do decide to attack us with both armies, because at the moment this army is going to struggle a bit, not much, but a bit against the two together, Gorfang himself and Nash. So looking at the map then, we've got one enemy at the moment that's close enough to do any damage, well, two with these. What I've usually done in the past is chased the Red Fangs down to the very last man. I don't think I'm going to do that this time. After I've taken Iron Rock, if they want a peace treaty, I may actually accept it for a while and take on the dwarves instead, because the dwarves can really cause you problems late game. So I'm probably going to do that. Start off fighting with the orcs, take on the dwarves, and maybe get a warg out of that and try and get rid of these guys before we try and take out the whole orcish army. And we can buy more units next turn. We can have some nasty skinkers and some more archers, so that'll be good to see. That's all I can do for now, though. I'm thinking 10 turns isn't actually going to take too long, but I don't want this video to be overly long anyway, so 10 turns is probably enough, and he is going to attack me with both units here. Roughly even. Okay, let's have a look then. 4 lots of orc boys, 3 lots of goblins that are pretty easy to get rid of, 2 chariots, which is a bit of a problem. I can fight this one actually, so long as I can get rid of the one army early. It's going to take them a long time to get to the field, and they're going to be hit by the Doomdiver the whole way. The tactically sound option would be to retreat, of course, but for the sake of entertainment, let's go. Orcs like to fight, so since when would Grimgor run away from one? Tactically sound option would be to retreat though, of course. And I'm going to have to be a little bit sneaky with this one, because the opposition Greenskins definitely have the numbers over me in this fight. But we'll have a look. So having a look at the units, we can only see this unit here, though the Wolf Rider is still the most important and most annoying unit that the opposition have, because they can basically get in the flank and get annoying. So I can't really go chasing after them because of this unit. I am going to have to let them come to me a bit. They're going to have the threat of the Doomdiver on them all the time, so it's not like they can just wait for the enemy to come as well, though. The other enemy to come and help them, so we may well see this army try and lock me up while the other one comes in to help. So hopefully I can remove this army before the other army is even close. That's the hope here anyway. And as we're heavily armoured, I might actually put the Black Orcs at the front with Grimgor as well, so they eat up most of the arrow damage, because not a lot of it will actually happen to them. What do we have in terms of terrain here? Nothing. Well, we got this slight hill, so we'll use this slight hill. Oh, actually we can have an anti-flank here. Alright, we will use this here. roughly the same. We'll have a line of orcs, and Grimgor is going to tuck in with those guys. And I'm going to set them to guard mode so they don't go chasing opposition. I'll put the goblins on the flank with the black orcs, and I won't put them in guard mode, so they do go chasing after opposition, but I'll try and keep them in line a little bit. Archers can go bang smack in the middle and right up the backside of the orcs so they can get the best possible range. I'll keep the boar boys on the outside for anti-flank, and we'll have the Doom Diver just behind the archers. That should do it, though I may have to remove because of where he sets up. We'll see. Though, it doesn't matter. The reinforcements are going to come here, so I'm going to be able to hit the reinforcements immediately and get a lot of Doom Diver damage on them from the start. I think it's my best play. We'll see. Let's have a look. The enemy opposition is... the other opposition's over there. Okay. So I'm going to focus the Doom Diver on the reinforcements, because obviously they're more fresh and, in general, more dangerous. Though it's going to take them a second to get in range. Everything's going to come in range at once. That's a bit of worry. That's a bit of a bugger. Well, if he's clever, he's AI, so he's not, but if he's clever, he should stay just out of the range and set up basically as a flat line so he can come at me all at once. But he's not, so let's just get some damage done immediately against these guys here, just when we're waiting for these to come in range. I don't want him auto-targeting the chariot, though, that's for certain. So we'll try and get rid of these goblins before they even get to the fight. I'm still not quite in range over here. Oh, we're getting good damage on the goblins, good. Yeah, these guys are going to be gone before they even get into the fight. And it looks like they're going to wait in my line of fire, so that's nice of them. And that's stupid AI for you. The AI in general in this Total War is better than previous Total Wars, but they still do stupid things like this sometimes. Unfortunately, especially when there's two armies. They're not so used to that kind of setup. Okay. These are probably in range now, but I'm kind of committed to getting rid of these guys for the time being. That's probably enough, to be fair. Let's do one more then. Alright, let's hit these guys now. The goblins can't quite get in range, but we'll try and take out Nash with the goblins. Yeah, not really much I can do about these guys here until I've got rid of Nash, but I'd rather get rid of him first. Well, on the plus side, they are shooting at my Black Orcs, and the Black Orcs aren't going to take a lot of damage from Goblin arrows. Right, I can probably focus these down now. By charging at the last possible second, you do usually get a better bonus than your opposition. I'm not too worried about this side of the fight, because I don't think Nash is going to stay around. Though I should be worried, because they're doing a lot of damage to this one orc unit, but there's not much I can do about that for now. Could actually focus this back down there, I guess. Well, that's silly. I'll sort out those units. We may get a shock charge here. Not quite. Maybe, we may catch them. Actually, with the speed, we may well catch them, so alright. Alright, keep focused down then. We've got one of these units disappearing as well. We're going to take some hits in the back here, which isn't good news. But it may be worth it to get rid of this one unit of chariots. Got to make sure that these guys don't come back. That's the one issue here. So in fact, I'm going to send those guys after them. Let's try and wipe out some goblins as well. Alright. Don't want any friendly fire though, so let's move those guys. In fact, we can hit the chariots there. Let's try and get rid of the archers. My management skills are not very good with this game. I will say that quite openly. Though they are committing pretty much their entire forces to that center, so that's good. So I have some goblins going after my Doom catapult, which is not good, but the archers are dealing with them now. Oh no, units disappearing. Oh, this is poor. Alright, well, we don't want to see anyone flanking, so let's get those guys hitting that flank. And unfortunately, my chariots are well out of position. So let's try and get them into... not chariots. Orc boar boys are out of position, but let's try and get them into the fight. This fight, I guess. First. Oh, I've got an orc. Set of orc boar boys out of the fight as well, there we go. That's them gone. Then next, goblins take out them. Doom Diver try and take out them as well. Just put a little bit of pressure on them. Black Orcs can hold their own until the boar boys come in to help. This is why retreating is a better idea. It did say that match was pretty fair, but it involves a lot of micromanagement, and even somebody who is quite experienced in this game, though I don't play it all the time, I am struggling to hold the enemy due to basically forgetting how to play. I think I have a unit back here somewhere as well. Right, we don't want Gorfang to stay in the fight, so let's go get rid of him. I need to get rid of those chariots as quickly as possible. Get the Doom Diver on them too. Right, come back here. I want chariots to come in, not run away. There we go, getting the goblins hitting chariot now, and they're not moving, so hopefully Doom Dive will do some damage too. There we go, they're gone. I think I've just scraped this fight. It was a poor showing though, but it'll have to do for now. And normally I would go chasing down the enemy, so I'm going to put it in super speed mode and do a bit of that, I guess, in a minute. Right. Let's just let them slowly run away. And can we hit these guys for a bit? I can hit them. If I do a multiplayer battle as well, then I'll try and show some of the graphics as a replay, at least. Well, that'll do. Let's move on. Yeah, close victory. Not the best showing. Not at all. But it will do. Could be worse. Could be worse. Oh, you're going to crash? Oh, no, don't crash. Crashing is bad. No, we're not crashing. That's fine. So I went laggy for a second there on me. So you can see how much damage the chariots can do if you don't focus them down with the archers. It's actually a good idea to let them come in close so you get the best possible hits on them, so they take a really big morale hit and basically they keep running away. That's how I tend to deal with these until I can get some wolves at least involved in the fight, which I probably will be able to now because Grimgor is going to level up again. And I think level 3 is when you get the 2 units of renown. And I take all the units of renown early game just because they give you a little bit of maneuverability in the fight, whereas the other things don't really. So there we go. And Doomdiver did a lot of work that match with 201 kills. Fair play there. And also the Boar Boys did better than they normally do. And taking some hits on the Orc Boys isn't such a big deal. I can merge them to make them into stronger units again. Not too worried about that. Easy enough to replace cheap units. I should have a look at Gorfang's army and see how badly they're hurt, deciding what to do next, though there's a good chance I'm going to retreat and have to have another fight with them before I can push forward. Though, if I do have the army to manage the city this turn, then I will go and hit the city this turn. We'll have a look when we get off the screen. I took way too many hits in that match though. 273 dead is more than I should be taking. And this time I could do with the replenishment, so I'm going to eat the... We're going to do a little bit of cannibalism. Let's have a look at this army first of all though. Mostly the goblin unit survived. That does not scare me at all. Quite happy with that. And when they have this weird colour, it means their fightiness is too low, so they're actually taking attrition every turn from now on. And we killed Nash, that's always good news. And we do have the 2 units of renown, we'll have a look at that in a minute. And trait gained, we have aggressor, so plus obedience in the area where we live. Here we go indeed. Right, let's buy the 2 units of renown first of all. My money is up here. How it works basically is the cash that you have here is your bank. If it's high at the end of your turn, it adds to your income. The other way around, sorry. Your income adds to your treasury. Your treasury basically can be spent on upgrades and on units, but your units cost your part of your income. So as your income goes down, the amount of treasury you have each turn is based on what income is left. So whatever income is left is saved automatically, basically. I don't know if that made sense. And I feel like the game is a little bit loud, so I apologize for that, but the balance is for Blood Bowl. Now, in terms of developing Grimgor, I personally prefer making him something that can basically win a fight on his own if he needs to. I have been in situations in the past where he has been the last man standing and he still managed to win the fight, so I do tend to build him that way. And just so I have a couple of solid units, let's put these guys together, and we'll keep this unit, I guess. They don't have a lot of experience, I could kick them. Well, we're going to go for... We're going to try and take out Iron Rock this turn. I mean, this is Nash's old army, it's completely out of the fight, basically. And Gorfang basically just has goblins, so I can go and deal with them quite quickly. I would like to buy more units, but I think we should get Iron Rock first, so let's go and sort that out. So, this is a pretty straightforward battle. Normally I would just auto-resolve this, but I'm going to not auto-resolve anything so we can see as much of the gameplay as possible. This fight isn't really going to last. They're all going to run away before they even get close to me, probably. Goblin units have really low morale, so what that means is basically if you focus your archers and your, well, anything that's ranged at them early on, they're going to run away quickly. Every hit they take, they're going to take a massive morale hit, and they're going to run away before they even get to be really part of the fight. And before we start this time, I'm going to have a look at each of the units very quickly, just to see what we can see, including the 2 renown units, because the Wolf Riders are actually my favourite thing in the whole universe of Warhammer. Though there is a thing in a card game I play where they actually have a Wolf Rider and the wolf is riding a goblin, and that's also really awesome. But I'm a really big fan of the Wolf Riders, so let's have a quick look at them. How do you turn again? Not like that, no. Like that, no. Well, like that, that'll do. Oh, I love the laugh. Okay, so let's see what we got first of all then. So here we go. Here are some Goblin Riders. Yeah. Wolf Riders, sorry. They're not goblin riders, they're wolf riders, yes. And the models in this game are fantastic. I really am quite a fan of what they've done with everything. And look how vicious they look. I really like them. Then we have some goblin archers over here, somewhere. No, they're not over here. Let's do it this way. There they go. Again, very nice. Very nice. Goblin archers can shoot in an arc, which is useful to know. They can shoot in a circle, sorry, not in an arc, whereas most things shoot in an arc, so they can shoot behind them, as well as directly in front of them. Having a look at some boys. There's quite a range of weapons, which is nice. Some stunties. Some stunty archers. The bow boys. These boars are horrific, I love them. The Doom Diver. It doesn't have the ammunition yet, that's a shame. But you can see all these guys ready to be shot. The Black Hawks. Look at them, wow. And Grimgor himself. Look how bloody big he is compared to the goblins. Alright, well there we go, that's the units that we're playing with here. So, we're already on this little hill, so let's make use of that. Always try to make use of terrain. If you can't make use of terrain, you're not playing the game right. It can really help you. It can really help you win fights if you set up correctly. It's basically the difference between a commander who knows how to use an army and a commander who knows how to actually fight using terrain. It's historically something that has always been an important factor in victory or defeat as well. So I have a little bit more speed now, so we're going to make even more use of this side. These guys do actually have, what's it called? They have, I can't remember the word, but anyway, they can set up forward of the rest of the army like this. They can set up by the white line. What this is good for basically is for getting decent flanks in, though of course where I've put them now is stupid because they're just going to get attacked immediately. But I'm just doing it to show what you can do with them. And if they go somewhere over here, actually, they may prove a little bit useful. Let's do that a bit better. There we go. So they're going to come in at the flank, even at the start of the match, and we're going to try and immediately wipe out the chariot with them. Whereas the Doom Diver is going to focus down the main infantry and the archers, of course. And I'm going to put the goblins there as defense, because I'm probably not going to use them, actually, this match. So let's put all the goblins with the goblin chucker. Just so they're afraid that they're going to get chucked as well, of course. And that should be it for the units. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Well, these guys are already in range, so let's deal with them. And these guys, I'm going to put them in skirmish mode, so if the chariots decide to chase them for some reason, they are going to be in trouble. And the wolf riders are going to chase them down. And then we're basically just going to wait for the orcs to get in range before we go after them. That's a nice opening hit. Let's actually watch a little bit of fighting here. I can put it in slow motion for a moment, maybe. Now let's have a look at the chariot as well in slow motion when it's moving towards us. There we go. I mean, it's a very nice model again. I'm really quite happy with the goblin models. They've done really good work with the wolves especially. And then I don't think there's anything particularly interesting apart from Gorfang, who is obviously one of the heroes of renown in the other Greenskin tribes. And little bits of goblin flying everywhere. That's always good to see. Let's see if we can see a Doom Dive hit in slow motion. Just to give you guys something to see. I may actually be able to follow it in. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oops. So it is literally a goblin wearing wings and flying into enemy units and blowing up. I mean, it's so simple, yet so very effective. There we go. Wow, he wiped out quite a few pieces there. Oh, and the second two... Yeah, we have the goblins behind as well. That's fantastic. And you guys can run, actually. Let's put it back in normal mode. So how close are we now? We're still pretty far away, that's fine. Little secret for you guys, I guess. It's not really much of a secret, but still. If you set the guys to locked formation, when you make them run, they will automatically run in the formation you have them in a straight line, but if they do make contact with an opposition unit, they will automatically charge them. So it can be a way, especially as undead, it's a very good tactic for sorting out. So your line is holding the enemy line, and we're going to actually do it when they get a little bit closer. Where are my archers? There they are. You should be able to hit the orcs now. Get to it. There we go, those orcs say bye-bye. Right, that should be good enough. Let's go. Grimgor, deal with Gorfang. And... Four boys. Get out the way. And let's get a good old flank in these goblins. Make sure they're not coming back. Doomdiver's going to be hitting my own boys here, so let's deal with that. Yeah, this army just isn't going to last very long here. There you go, Gorfang is dead. They're not staying. No way. Nice and easy this one. Let's try and just see a charge from the wolves. No, really? I've got to see the guy at the back? That's a shame. Yeah, they're not trying to charge the chariot. The chariot's just in the way, though they are giving it a couple of hits. Just so we can see these guys doing something. Let's just see them go into battle against the orcs. Oh. Where are we going? There we go. You can see even these little goblin guys are pushing all the orcs around and sending them flying. It's really nice to see. And if we have a look at this unit, they're trying to chase down these archers, and they are actually shooting at them. Whew. And Doomdiver came in to help as well. Why are you guys not shooting? Oh, there we go. That's good enough. And the boar boys. We're actually chasing down goblins, so that's a bad day to be a goblin. Oh, I think we got them all. Alright. Well, there we go. We get the idea. So, there's that. Hi, Blissful Fire. Sorry, I've just noticed that you're here. I have been mostly doing this for YouTube now, but I can talk back live again. Welcome. I'm playing Total War Warhammer. Anyway, so off the back of that battle, it was an easy one, as you can see. And we hardly took any damage at all. We lost, there you go, 10, 15 somehow. I guess I hit my own boys as well. Well, there we go. Again, the Doomdiver's done his job well. Grimgor had a good fight that time. Good old ruck for the big orc. And again, the boar boys did a good job. I do as little as possible with the wolves, actually, because they can't level up. So I prefer to get the experience for the orcs fighting and for the boar boys. And of course, the black orcs, because experienced black orcs are scary black orcs. I think I'll finish this live stream actually when I get to the Battle of Renown, which should be soon, against the dwarves. I think that's a good thing to see at the end, if I can trigger that quickly enough. I think it triggers after taking this town, actually, so that'll be the last thing I do. We'll go into the proper fight against the bearded gits. Though we have to take the town first, which is the next job. And with Gorfang down as well, there's not going to be much fight in the Red Fangs for a little while now. So we have managed to do some damage to the opposition at least. I can still do with getting a few casualties back, so I'm probably going to go for cannibalism again this time. Yeah, let's eat us some orcs. It's good, it's like a mushroom soup. Well, we'll take Intimidating Presence as well, just to give that little bit of leadership to the rest of the army. And can we get Iron Rock this turn? Maybe. Not quite next turn. Alright. We don't need to take it this turn, it's fine. The main problem in this particular campaign is that your allies, or the guys who can potentially be your allies, completely suck. I mean, generally speaking, the orcs are not winning fights against the dwarves unless it's you. So you have to keep that in mind. As soon as you can see the enemy within range, you've got to expect that soon you're going to be fighting them. Of course it involves fighting, mate. Of course. Another boring battle. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're running out a bit. Alright, I'm going to auto-resolve this one. I don't like auto-resolving, generally speaking, but just to move the game on a bit, we don't really need to do that one. When you take a city, you have the choice to simply occupy it, you have the choice to loot and occupy, and you have the choice to sack and raise. Because I want to keep this island, and I want to keep the obedience up, I'm only going to occupy, so I don't cause any problem in the area. Which of course gives me mission successful from taking Iron Rock, so that's good enough. And we got the Squig Hoppers. Yay.
Your territory expands, Savage Lord. Yet there are many lands to conquer. In time, I foresee war with the greater tribes of the Badlands, as well as the stunted kind that dwell beneath the mountains. Keep your axe sharp, for Orc and Orc watch your progress with interest.
Thanks, random helper guy. So yeah, we've been asked to occupy, loot, raise, or sack 2 different settlements, and we'll be doing these kind of objectives mostly in dwarf territory, and there'll be a lot of sacking and then raising. Because I don't want to develop too quickly, because if you develop too quickly, chaos comes quicker, and we don't want chaos too quick. As orcs it doesn't really matter, but eventually they will come and fight us, and I'd prefer to fight them later in the game. So we do have this quest. We're going to do this quest as the last thing, probably, so I'm going to build the army now, and then we'll go and have the battle at Thundering Falls, and we'll finish there for today. And then from there, you guys can tell me whether you want to see more or not. And I think we want melee attack for now. We'll take the Squig, and we will try and make this army a 17-unit army, so we want 3 more units. Oh, why didn't that work? There we go. Misclicked, obviously. I do want some archers as well to deal with the gyrocopters in the missions, so let's take a couple of orc arrow boys and some nasty skulkers, because some nasty skulkers are really, really good. They can basically be right in your face before you even know they're on the battlefield. And I guess we can wait here 2 turns, so we may take some more skulkers. Maybe 1 more unit of archers. Alright, 1 more unit of archers, 1 more unit of skulkers. There we go. We'll stay here for 2 turns then. And Iron Rock, we already have this, so let's get rid of that. And we'll replace it with something else next turn. Well, here's our first bit of diplomacy. So this bar represents their power in relation to you. So Scabby are actually doing alright at the moment, but they won't do alright in the end. I'm alright with a non-aggression pact though, I don't really want to fight them. If you take out Scabby, the problem is that you'll be on the border with the dwarves, which is not good news. Better to keep a bit of distance between you and the dwarves by letting your allies or, you know, things that get killed stay in the way. And we're still pretty short on cash, so let's get some more shiny stuff. Give us them teeth. And we're going to be here 1 more turn before we have the final battle of this video. Is there anything else we want to do? I don't think so. There should be enough. Yep. Yep. Where are you going? Yeah, if you go for Black Crag, it's not really going to affect me. You're probably running away. That's fine. Nothing else is causing me problems, so off we go. Again? Alright, you're going to pay me for military access? That sounds good. That's useful to us, actually. Means we can go stomp all over your lands and you're not going to be annoyed. It's good news for me. Alright, let's develop Iron Rock. Can we get through this turn? We can. So, this is going to be the last action of this live stream. I guess I'll take a break after this, then maybe do something else. But we'll go and have this quest battle. There will be a cinematic at the beginning, so I'll let that play. We'll have a look at the nasty skulkers, because they've just joined us, and have a look at the squigs and the arrow boys, then we'll have the battle. Here we go. Dwarfs! So, talking about the opposition very quickly. Yes, Valar is actually a bit of a problem for Grimgor when Grimgor is low level, though he's not going to win the fight. The hammers are actually pretty useless so long as I can keep them off the Black Orcs. If they get into a fight with the Black Orcs, they're in trouble. The miners, same problem, because they're both armor-piercing units. Dwarf Warriors in general are a real pain in the ass, so I'm going to have to hope that the Doomdiver does most of the work there. And I'm going to have to try and knock out the Grudge Thrower with my range of artillery units. And Quarrelers can be a real pain as well, so even though it says that the battle is really in my favour, Dwarfs in general are quite annoying. And yes, these gyrocopters are very difficult to deal with. That's why I've taken so many archer units, just so we can actually hit them when they're flying and causing us all kinds of problems. We're going to take some injuries here, for certain. Injuries. I'm playing Blood Bowl certain. We're going to take some casualties for certain here. Though at least we can hit them from both sides, so may actually take advantage of that. May well indeed. Oh, there's more people watching. Hello, people watching. You've come right at the end. So, cinematic first. We'll let that run. I actually quite like the little loading screen things. They're very fitting most of the time, especially when you're doing a quest.
The sun is on the stars. Time for a rock, I say. I'm gonna enjoy pulling these beers from their cheeks. First though, we need to break their big guts. That's just chilling. I want some boys to have straight away. Stop the artillery from shooting, and we get more time scrapping. Just cause all loves it. Would you know, just to get short, don't need one or two of them handy with their own clothes. They went following underground, and so were we. I was getting ran out under Mount Red Hall. Right, boys, that's the plan. Animals, get your choppers out. This one's gonna be fun.
Thanks, Grimgor. Appreciate it. Right, so let's have a look then. Now the dwarves aren't very likely to move very far. I'm going to have to go and get them, and I'm going to try and do it in two shock movements basically. So I'm going to put all the cavalry actually at the back so we can surround them. And they're probably facing the wrong way. Yes, they are. And I'm also going to put the skulkers at the back, just so they can get a little bit of damage right in. The Orc boys are going to run right up the front, and everybody else is going to do things at the back. Just try and disrupt what the dwarves want to do here. This is the easiest of the quests, though. I mean, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to lose this fight, to be honest. Though when the gyros come in, they do cause a lot of problems. So it is worth keeping that in mind. And the dwarves aren't going to be chasing me down, but I don't want to be chasing them down either. So we are going to try and deal with that. Doomdiver, of course, is going to try and do some damage early on. Though I'm probably going to stop him from shooting in the end. There's a group there too, and we'll leave the goblins just as defense for the Doomdivers again, because I don't really need them, to be honest, in this fight. Right then, so just getting ready. Let's get all you guys in the group. Let's get you guys in the group. Let's get you guys in the group. That will do it. And set you to skirmish. And I don't want you guys chasing down either, so there we go. That will do. Right in. The dwarves are moving. Well, that's good news. Let's go and sort that out then straight away. And let's focus down these archers. Right. Oops. Orcs go forward. Skulkers come to the back. You're out of the way. No, don't want to hit them. Do not want to hit them. Right, you come in the back here. You guys come in the back here. That's probably enough. You come out. You come around. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, I forgot to have a look at the units, sorry. Well, we can have a look at them in action, maybe. Let's have a look at the squigs, where are they? Here we go. Here we go. Oh, that's laggy. Look at their big tongues, aren't they cute? That's really laggy. Cool. You guys aren't doing anything, come on. Right, need that gun. Go sort it out. You guys can help out here. You guys can help out here. Archers, I need you guys ready, because they're coming. You come on. Get out of the way. Come on. Alright. Here we go then. Gyros are here. Let's try and hit them. Guys, come on. Get out of the way. Bring the gyros in. Bring him in. Force him to fight on our terms. Right. That one's going first, get rid of it. Oh, laggy, laggy, laggy. Like I said, I'm going to take some damage here, it's inevitable, so I'll do as much as I can to sort them out. Let me try and hit this one. Oh, the goblins are going. That's good. One left. Come on, boys, you can do it. You can do it. There we go. Good boys. We is indeed better than them. Yeah, it says decisive victory, but I took more injuries than I would have wanted to there. More casualties, sorry. Mostly orc boys though, so not such a big deal. Though we got rid of the main army pretty much immediately. Could have done better with the grudge thrower, but he only managed 10 kills. Okay. Ooh, the hammers did some work though. How did that happen? They weren't fighting anything with armor. Oh well. never mind. Yeah, just the hammers. Everything else was taken out pretty easily. And the gyros did some work as well. 345. That's a lot of dead greenskins. But there are more dead beards, so that's good news for Grimgor. Even the goblins took injury. They weren't even in the fight. That's interesting. Ah well. I'll have a look at the Orc Arrow boys at the start of the next battle, I guess. But we will leave this video here for now, so if you have been watching, then thank you very much. Please leave comments below when watching on YouTube, not on live stream. Obviously you can't leave below. You can leave comments at the side though. If you do want to see more, then let me know. If you want to see something else in particular, then let me know as well. I can play a bit more of this game. I'm just trying to branch out a bit from Blood Bowl, so let me know if you do want to see some more Total War. I'm just going to let the end bits finish on the main screen, then I will close the stream once we've seen everything that happens there. So this will be the end. Quest complete. Lots of loot and some beards as souvenirs. We can mostly do with getting some casualty replen here, so let's eat some dwarfs. We get a hero off the back of that, a goblin big boss, who is mostly a fighting piece, though he's also pretty good at assassinating, so he's useful to have on the field, and it's a good thing to level him as quickly as possible. And we also got Gambler's Armor, which gives us 5+ armor and 10+ ward save, so there we go. Successful quest. And we'll make sure the Grimgor is wearing that now. You do that by going into character details and setting his armor. It'll take him 1 turn to change it though. He's got Tormentor Sword as well, and we just have the 2 banners. I thought I had a follower as well, but never mind, apparently I don't. And we're going to get the Warg next turn, so that will be something to see next time. Anyway, I'm going to close the stream here, so thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.